evening and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music. Today we have on Neil Zaza. How are you, man?
Man, it's good to be back, brother. How you doing?
It's good, good. Neil, if you don't know him, he's actually a park ranger. All right, no, it's not really. He's a guitar player. I was going to do something really elaborate and give you a hard time, but I'm not going to do that to you tonight. We got a lot to talk about. Park ranger,
that would mean I would have a real job. So that cannot even be possible.
It's
just so we lay that down. So
I would get lost if I was a park ranger because I calculated the woods, but then I get like the mosquitoes. I'd be complaining about it. I'd be in the office complaining with like bug spray. I'd have Lyme disease. It'd be the worst job ever for me.
Absolutely.
As they work through it live here in the air, yeah, it's a bad thing. Bad thing.
In concept, it sounds great. In execution, would not.
But like, it sounds good if you're like a really just like stoner that likes being outside in the woods all day long and doesn't care about things like fresh water and like running water rather.
Exactly. So, but you do get the fresh air, but that's the risk you take. So
it is, and I don't know if it's worth it for me. You got a lot going on. You got a new album?
I do. Finally.
It's slamming. I've been listening to it a lot. So I want to talk about that.
You I think are probably, aside from the band, I think you're the only one, maybe another one or two inner circle that have heard the whole record. No one's heard the whole record.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
I am totally touched. Thanks. I've been listening to it a lot. And when I message you the links, like I literally, so this is a good story. I'll share it. Never had a lot of iPhone problems, and whoever's up with their phone's burning or whatever. And so I had the music, I had it loaded on there, and I usually back stuff up or whatever. I don't know. I couldn't find where I had the files downloaded. I had it on my phone because I've been listening to it all the time. And it's awesome cruising music too. So I plugged in my phone. It's been getting hot lately. Also, I plugged in the couch. I left the other room. I came back. I could smell it burning. I go over. My entire phone was so hot you couldn't even touch it. It was like almost burnt up. And then it just went black, and it was off for like hours. And
like it really literally burned up.
Yeah. Like it was so hot to touch. And then I came back. I left for a while. I came back. I was like, I don't even care. I just went to the beach. It was cold out just to see the beach. I just needed a break from the world. And I was like, without the phone, it was kind of nice. It felt old fashioned, But then it turned on, and I was like, what the heck? So I went down to Verizon, and I told him what happened. And he's like, all right, let's look at the plan here. I was ready to buy a new phone because I felt I don't get coverage. He's like, oh, you got no coverage. The Apple warranty's out. All right, we'll give you another phone. So they gave me a brand new refurbished phone. And refurbished means they just an iPhone, exact same thing. So I literally went home. I had everything backed up, except for I couldn't find the file where these songs were. And that was a big thing for me because this is the album I've been listening to. And then for you, I'm like, I wanted to make notes because I've been listening to it, but then I couldn't think of what point in the songs I was talking about.
And instrumental tunes are difficult too because there's no lyrics, obviously, because it's instrumental.
But
it's not like, oh, that song, I don't know. It's, there's no point of reference, so it's difficult if you don't have a title.
It is your most straight ahead rockish album, big arena rock. It's good. It's really good. It holds. I mean, it's really really good. And so let's talk about it. So the name, where's the name come from?
So let me go back just a second.
Yeah, no, please.
As far as direction of the record. So when I started out, as most instrumental guys, like, I want to be like Yngwie or Paul Gilbert or all the shredders, right? Mm-hmm. And now every record from the first few like demo records I did, because it doesn't really sound like me anymore. I want to go simpler and simpler and simpler and more song oriented and more. So I thought Peach was the epitome of maybe how simple I could get with the songwriting, with Bari, but I just kept going more song. I mean, there is some chopped in there. There's a little bit of.
Well, there's a lot of riffage in it because, like, the first time I heard a lot of big things, but each time you listen to it, you pick it apart. I mean, no, it's not Yngwie. I mean, I can't listen to Yngwie albums. Like, you get in a mood, you can listen to it, but it's just a bazillion arpeggios over and over again. You kind of need a song to really listen to after a while. You know what I mean?
But that's the point. Is it's all about the song, and I know it's like my tagline on my socials, but like there has to be a good song, and when I'm writing a recording now, I want to feel like, yeah, this feels good live. Like it sounds like people can interact with it, and you don't have to be some upper crust guitar player to get into it. I like everyone could listen to it. And it was really a lot of the tunes are throwbacks to things that like I grew up listening to. So like I don't hide my love of Neil Sean, of Journey and that pop influence, right? So Journey, Styx, The Babies, that was a big band for me. Like all that, like why can't my music have that essence in it, just not have the singer? So that really was the thrust behind the songs themselves, and I really appreciate you saying that.
Well, it feels like it's your most accessible for like outside. We talked about this before. Your audience is like about 90% men like this, and two girls in the back like getting cornered, But this is much much more of a accessible album, I think, because it has more of the bigger, like the music we grew up on, the melodies.
You want that anthemic chorus, or like
it's
the record was
actually,
you want a hook in it. In fact, the initial working title on my sessions, the folders still have it was going to be called Anthem Machine, because I just I want someone you're playing to like, you're like, yeah, hell yeah,
Does even some guitar sounds are honoring back then too.
I'm sorry.
So some of your guitar sounds and your tones are very reminiscent too. You really hold true.
Thank you. Yeah, it's you just try to fit in for the song, and but so to answer your question, I know I diverted. So I watched there's a Dutch artist. Not that I'm a big art aficionado or anything like that, but I watched a documentary on Vermeer. He's an artist, a Dutch artist from 1600s, and they were going through his life and his work, and it was just really interesting to me because a lot of elements of what they were saying, it really resonated with me. Like he worked in they don't really know, but they think he worked in a single room, a small room, did all his work there because all his paintings are based on one room. So I'm like, here's my room. I work in a small room, right?
Yep.
He was not really a big artist, big rock star artist of his time. He did his thing in his room. Okay, that's me. All right, cool. And then they had that they don't know exactly how he did what he did with some of his paintings are real vivid, but he did some stuff with techniques and light and everything, and they don't know how he did it because they think he used external devices like a mirror or it's called a camera obscura, and I thought it's interesting because recording on the computer, I get all these different sounds, but you don't know if it's me or a keyboard player, or you don't know, maybe I cut the piano to St. Valentine one measure at a time. I did. You don't really know, but it's that tomfoolery behind the scenes that works. So it resonated with me.
You did that. Hold on a second. I have a bunch of compliments for you. Gotta cross that one off. No.
Yeah. All the piano, Neil, measure by measure. Okay, cross that off. But anyway, so it just felt like I was hearing about me, and he worked and he just had some output. So anyway, I like the name. It all worked out really, really well. So that's why it's called Vermeer.
What about the album, the photo on it you chose?
The photo with the coffee?
No.
Or the
album itself, yeah.
I guess, I have to say this album, I really took control of every element. Like I basically played everything. We had a few really great guests, the Buddha and my buddy Todd Rogers, George Sippel, some keyboards, Todd Zuckerman played, but I basically did everything on the album myself. And then it went even to the cover. Like, so by the time I tell someone what I want, and then they try to talk me out of it, and then we go back and forth on revisions, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
So I just got on the iPad and did these Pantone color squares, because it's representative of like art. But if you get so close to the art, you can't see what the picture is. it's all pixelated. So as you step back, then you see the whole picture. So it has a little bit of an art reference into it. So plus it's a bright cover. So like when it's in your iTunes or on your phone, it pops. So
it's good. I like it.
I'm just a control freak at this point now. I
just to begin with. I mean, it's yours, and then people are gonna question you. And there's some bands that have some horrible album covers, you know, and they're like, "This is the worst." I'm like, "Well, why'd you do it?" Somebody said it was a good idea, but aren't you the artist? Don't you want to have your own idea? It's gonna suck. It's yours.
You bring up a great point, because like normally when someone will do a concept, unless I'm blown away, now I'm thinking of their feelings. Like, well, I don't really like, well, I guess it could work. I don't know. And so my new philosophy, and I mean this in a modest way, no one knows anything.
Philosophy. This COVID is just, I don't know who you are anymore.
I don't know who am I?
Who are you?
But, no one really knows anything, but everyone purports to know something, right? So my thought is, they say, well, you should do this or you should do it, but they don't know. No. So either I trust my own instinct and I'm wrong and it's okay, or I abandon what I think. Okay, let's go. You know better than I do, which rarely they do. And this isn't about me. It's just about in general. And so it's just better to follow our own instincts and let's just do what we want to do. If we fail and it flames out miserably, fuck it, but at least I didn't hand it over to someone and say, oh, okay, well, I if I would have only done it my way, it would have been better, So it's just, plus I don't know. I'm not patient anymore. I get impatient.
No, but it's hard. I mean, there's been some of the best albums have the worst album covers, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, I think when you can have art combined in it, it makes it much more fun, or some affiliation. I mean, like, here's a good example. When Skid Row came out, Heavier with Slave to the Grind, and then Sebastian Bach's father did that painting for the album cover, and it's a giant full painting somewhere.
Right.
Okay, that's a good tie-in. I get that. That works. If you can do something like that, but unless you have some executive, I mean, coming and saying, or some art team that doesn't know you, that wants to hit the guitar genre, what's going on in COVID days, like they're marketing art. It's like I should put that word together: marketing art, arting. Anyway,
right.
But you just not your vision. That's not who you are. You're not trying to fit a niche. You're trying to create.
Well, and again, no one knows. Like, so you take Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Like, obviously, that's such an iconic cover, right? I mean, it's, but I'm sure at the time there was people like, oh, it's kind of simple. It's all black with a prism, or, like, what is it Houses of the Holy by Zeppelin? Well, let's have these nymphs climbing a mountain of rock, and we'll make it kind of warm. Like, no matter what you're going to do, someone's going to hate it. So just do what you want, and what does it matter, So, so that's really like, it's just, I just got to follow my own thing now. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying my decisions are proper.
If you're going to do it, the first thing you did was talk about it pops in iTunes. And that's one of the biggest things. They'll turn away your artwork if you don't do stuff. They are, particularly, that.
I started this artwork thing on, I guess I started though a few records ago. So I didn't do the packaging, but the album cover for 212 was iPhone at a county fair. Then I did the album cover for One Dark Night. Mm-hmm. So I guess, over the past few years, I've Clyde the Cat. And now that I think of, wow, Introspection by Sean and Neil. Right. Clyde the Cat was an iPhone. I clicked Clyde, and then I saturated it and all that, posterized it and stuff. Yeah. So I guess the album artwork I've always liked, So
it's good. I mean, let's face it.
No, but even like if you think of the Stones, is it Sticky Fingers with the zipper on it? Like, now that's a genius. That's a great cover. I mean, who thinks of that kind of stuff? So, but ultimately it's about the music, and it is what it is. But it's, it's so strange. I have to tell you, to be working on it throughout, everyone has a pandemic record, but throughout all that, and you're in your cocoon in my room right here, and you're working, you're listening and fine tuning and hating it. And all of a sudden now it's out, and people are actually saying the titles of the songs, it's like, it still freaks me out. Like it's not my personal thing anymore. It's like, it's out to the world, you know? So
it could be a weird thing to kind of have it and then give it up. I mean, like I said, I thank you for letting me hear it early, and I've appreciated it. Like I couldn't wait to get it. You sent it to me. I was in my car, you sent it within 15 minutes. I had downloaded, I was driving, listening to Big Rock, or Prelude, and then Big Rock, windows down. It's a jamming song. It's perfect. You know, I think we should talk. Let's take a minute and talk about these. But I do want to end and talk about some of this video and media work you're doing, so people are directed and aware of what you're doing. And over time, over time we'll do more stuff, and I'll point more people your direction too, and we'll touch that.
Yeah.
But use our time well. So let's talk. So you got your such a Prelude, which is an instrumental, or all instrumental. It's more of a small mini piece. Instrumental.
It's like a prelude. I don't know.
I don't know. But I always want to say it's instrumental because usually there's other stuff. But it builds, and then Big Rock. Big Rock was one of your first singles, right? Was it your first single? One of them.
It was the first single
I
put out.
Yeah.
And again, I wanted something that like felt like uplifting, like a simple riff that, like, when we're in concert, it can, you know, like get that arm up, or I call it the chicken neck, you know, the neck is going. And I just wanted something simple that the chorus really popped, and it just lifted up. You know, I want to be happy, you know. It
is happy. And there's a lot of really great, like you say, simplest riffs, but they're not simple to play. And you have a lot of bazillion little licks here and there that are very intricate. So I think you're underselling how you know, the finesse and all the pieces in this machinery. I mean, it's just a lot of just riffs that are just crazy between the big chunky ones, but you're still shredding. I don't see you slowing down. I mean, and some of it feels even more clear and succinct with these big rock songs behind it, because it almost feels like it's making them pop more because of your mind's at.
You bring up a really good point, Sean, is so, like, as a guitar player, you want to just go balls out all the time, right? It's just genetically, right. It's where we're programmed. But for me, like, Big Rock was strange, because, like, the verse is the intro, then it goes into the verse 1 and 2. It's just the chords. It's just the main da 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 right. da da. So as a guitar player, I kept experimenting with, well, I can do, you know, all this widdly diddly. But then as a composer or arranger, producer, I was like, just keep it simple, you know, keep it like think about, like, you're on stage rocking, you're playing, and, you know, and then when the chorus comes in, now the guitar player enters, right? And now it's lifted. So just letting the verses go, that was just like rhythm guitar. It was a progression for me, for sure.
Well, so it's gotta be interesting. I'm gonna say, I never really thought about it, but as a guitar player and just an instrumentalist, like, if you're in a band, you got everybody looking at different people. Oh, it's guitar solo, or the guitar fans are staring at the guitar guy, or the lead vocalist, or whatever. You're kind of like everything. So, like, people are just staring at you playing guitar for like an hour and a half, or whatever your show is. That's kind of an interesting concept, because not having everybody just stare at you play guitar and what your fingers are doing feels like it can be almost distracting if you think about it for a split second. Whereas not everyone has that. You know what I mean?
It's strange, because, like, I am the lead singer, right? They go, well, do you have a lead singer? Yeah, it's right here. It's the guitar. It's interesting, though. I'll say this because I have some dates coming up. I'll make the point here. It is, because I'll wander. I want the songs accessible, right? Because every time I go on a tour, I get with these, like, crazy prog bands, these gent bands, these, you know, like that. It's just, to me, it's a whole nother style of playing now, and it's a very busy style. And, like, I want to focus on what they don't, if that makes sense. Like, I want to focus on a simple song, a simple melody, and let them do that thing, but I'll do this thing, you know? So I always think of the differentiation between, you know, like, a lot of times when we tour, we played some incredible guys, or like I did a tour with Andy James, or I did a tour with Michelangelo, Badio. And I remember my thought process was, these guys are fucking incredible shredders. Like, they're just amazing, amazing. I can't touch it. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do my pretty songs. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do my melody. It's going to be a bread and butter, a peanut butter and jelly, a yin and yang, a chocolate, Reese's peanut butter cup. And it always works out good because the styles are so different. I really did think about that too, you know, writing the record. Like, I want to stay true to who I am, which is this pop sound, I guess.
I think your guitar, like I said, I think your guitar antics are quite well. You hold up with those guys, you know, you're being modest. But to the point is, though, I do think you do get like almost like you hear the same thing for too much. You don't hear it anymore. Like, you know, you go like a festival, five of your favorite bands. By the end, you're like, oh, I could care less if I get a song. Like, but like any other time, you'd be like, I can't wait to hear this. You get this like noise. You just becomes like noise pollution at some point. So if you're just hearing, you know, 3 hours of shredding of just strictly technical, it's like, it could be too much.
And conversely, if you listen to an hour or two of like mid-tempo blues, they could be the greatest blues player in the world, but you're like, I need a little something different. So you have to keep it fresh. But yeah, exactly.
We hit Someday Today. A beat, another great rock song. You're following, you know, but they don't all sound the same though. They really do sound totally different. And you get the feel of the 80s rock of the bands you mentioned, but it's still fresh because there's no song that like sounds like a certain song. You know what I mean?
Right.
There is. I can hear a riff and go, oh, that reminds me of something, but I don't want to put anything out there because, you know, once you put something out there, everyone hears that. And exactly. And I don't want to do that because everybody should hear something different. It's like reading a book. Everybody should see the different in their mind's eye, in their mind's palace, something different. Right. That's the gift of music. You know, but one of the great things you did is, so Gumdrop Fantasy is, you know, so a couple of songs are really sticking out, like my favorites right now, and that's one of them. The piano and then the kind of the synthy effects, the kind of feeling like a little Alda Nova, you know, nod, or, you know, it just feels like I really like it. ELO, thank you. Yep. You know, Louisiana do all of them throwing it. But no, but seriously, it feels good. It's like, I was not expecting that. I was like, oh, it's good. It's fun. I mean, that's what makes it a fun album. There's no apologies for doing stuff that people have been apologizing for since the shoegazing music came out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're not making it flocky.
That one is that one's the special one on the record, because when we recorded it, even Todd Sucherman, he's like, this is the special one. This is the one. Listen, I make no bones about, I'm the biggest ELO fan that was ever born. Like, on my Spotify top 21, you know, and 21, Elton John and ELO. Like,
I got myself
I
actually have ELO record on vinyl. I got my ELO on vinyl more than anybody I know. So I'm hearing you.
So I wanted to do something like in that songwriting style, that spacey kind of fantasy sort of feel. And I'm really, really, really proud of that tune. I got into, over the past 2-3 years, I've been really into synthesizers, like vintage synths, and behind you right now, there's like a whole stack of stuff. I love the sound. It just sounds 70s and it sounds retro. Mm-hmm. And so I got a chance to use a lot of that on that song. I'm really, really, really proud of that tune. So thank you for noticing that. And yes, it's supposed to sound like ELO because I fucking love that band.
Well, I didn't want to say ELO. I gave another name because I didn't want to give it out, because I am a huge ELO fan too, but you know, but I'm glad.
And the Beatles, you know, the Beatles too, like the chorus.
ELO is the Space Beatles.
Jeff Lynne even said, if the Beatles stayed together, this is what they would have been.
Totally.
Like,
I agree with that. It fills it fills the spot, the void, you know. I've always thought that. They're like another version of the Beatles. Or he is really.
That's great though. Thanks for noticing that. I really appreciate that.
I love it. I don't remember which song it was, and I hate this because there's a part. I was driving and I heard a riff, and you had a couple notes, and you were playing them, and you added a couple different notes in there that were similar, but you were kind of playing with the scales a little bit, and it was hitting 2 or 3 different notes, and it reminded me of, it had such emotion. It reminded me of like happy, sad. I'm gonna have to look it up, and when I hear it again, I'll tell you, because I couldn't find it. It reminded me of, Twin Peaks, the soundtrack, that really emotional. There's a couple notes in one of these songs. I don't know if it's Gumdrop or if it's like St. Valentine. One of your slow songs where it hits a couple notes, and it reminds me of that same really powerful, strong emotion, but happy, but sad, like melancholy. And it was brilliant. And it's just a few notes you stuck in there, and it was just.
Well, you have to tell me what it.
I will. It's like, it's one of my favorite
ones. I can play it more.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So let's just keep up into Juno. This one is probably your Neil shown Journey one, right?
No, there's no question.
If you do a video, this has been a cliff with a helicopter over you.
Yeah. Again, I wanted something uplifting. I wanted a good little like chordal riff, not a riffy riff, but I wanted something like across the record, WWNSD. What would Neil Sean do? So that was always my mantra. I should have posted, what would Neil Sean do? So yeah, man, I think that'll be a fun one to play once we get it together. That'll be a good one for sure. Well,
this is one of the things that's fun with this album is COVID's bad, and everyone gets bummed out, or depression, and we all battle our things. This is a happy album. Even the ballads are happy songs. I mean, there's emotion to them, but you don't feel like, oh my God, you're bumming me out. You know what I mean? Like,
you're killing me. Right.
Killing me. Oh, it's time to listen. I want to listen to Neil Zaza. Oh, do we have any more Kleenex? I can't listen to the album because it's gonna really bum me out. No, you gotta feel good about it, and that's kind of a good time for it. Maybe that's why I've been listening to it so much.
But that's sort of the point, which is like, I love. Sounds so crazy in the genre I play. We have not yet really talked about, and I don't want to talk about, oh yeah, you did some fast arpeggio there, or you were playing 30-second notes over 15/16, or you were like, we're talking about music, we're talking about emotions, we're talking about how it makes us feel. And see, right there, that makes me happy, because that's the goal. Is it's not about the guitar should disappear, except when you want it to be.
Right. And to that point, I mean, there are some interesting things you do, and I'll say this as a guitar geek. We were probably really great. The dichotomy of this is the two of the best here. You're like one of the best guitar players, and I'm one of the best worst guitar players. So we have two of the best players here. I'm the best at being the worst at it. But nobody can appreciate more the layering and the building of a song, the way you kind of build it, and to walk away and be like, it sounds simple, it sounds good, and that's really great. But you're layering certain things on it that the listener's not worrying about, but to make it sound that way, you are doing some of those crazy, time signature things. But you don't make it evident where it's got to
in service of the song.
Right.
In service of the song, right?
It doesn't stand out where you wouldn't know. Like I'll tear it apart and listen to it a billion times, you know what I mean? Because I'm a dork. But like when you listen to it, you will not know it if you just listen to the song, But you do some great guitar stuff on it. That's pretty smart.
Thank you. I'll say this. I won't name the band, but I saw a band a while ago, and drummer's like, okay, we're going to do a tune. It's going to feel like there's a bump after a while. That's because we're doing a measure of 15/16 and da-da-da. And like, I just thought to myself, man, you're a badass. First of all, man, you're a badass. But I was like, that is the fucking worst thing. Like, that's like looking at the Mona Lisa, analyzing the brush strokes. Or you're like, well, he mixed that pigment with oil and cow hair. And like what? Like, who cares the construction of it? The listener doesn't. It's like the Wizard of Oz. You want to see the wizard. You don't want to know what's behind the curtain. Well, so what does it matter?
Hearing that a little bit, but I don't want to hear the things that make it stand out. Like that would make the song stand out, or like saying at this part his swipe on painting it was a mistake. Like don't point it out to me. I don't mind like how it was built, but the interest, like to me, like whatever. But pointing out stuff to me, because then that's all you're thinking of. Everyone's thinking anything of that time signature. or they're not getting it, or they're irritated.
Right. Okay. There it is. There it is. And now it's not even about the music. Now it's all the focus is on at the Wizard of Oz. I'm really drawing a horrible analogy, but you understand what I'm saying.
Well, it's also a fun bonus as a musician or a fan to hear that and be like afterwards, oh my God, in the song, like when you're geeking out on the way back in the car, to talk about, did you hear when he did that in the drum thing? Or is it, you know what I mean? It's fun. It's like an Easter egg to find that kind of thing, and not so much have it pointed out to you.
But it's like I guess it's just what people want to get out of the art, right? So for me, I don't want to look behind the curtain. I don't want to look at the brush strokes. I want to see the art and just be in awe of it. I don't want to know the construction of it, because if the art is good, I feel it. I don't need to know how it was done. I don't want to know. But like a lot of the music with the kids these days, right? It is just balls out, technical, all these, like, it's incomprehensible to an old guy like me, right? Because it's like, this is just crazy stuff. But now it's not something that I want to listen to, and I don't get any emotional, it's almost like you're eating your vegetables. You're not enjoying the meal. You're
right.
looking at how it's plated or something. So you understand what I'm saying.
Like taking a picture of it instead of just eating it. You want to be taking, you're just be eating and not taking a picture of it. And but this album does that. I think it's and perfectly planned. I'm sure you were happy with that. The St. Valentine was able to be put out Valentine's. I mean, were you sweating it out saying this album's got to be out in time so I get to single out, because that was the perfect window. Once a year, that one day.
The label that is putting it out in the United States, like, well, we should probably do 3 lead-up singles to build the excitement or whatever. And it's cool. Listen, I would just release the thing, but I was like, well, February 14th, we got the second single. It's got to be St. Valentine. Yeah. And I have to tell you, there's a few. I'm getting ready to do some dates this week in Texas, and I'm playing a lot of the new tunes. St. Valentine will be one that I'll play that every show. Like it resonates with me. It was written on Valentine's Day. For my woman in sitting in my chair there. I felt bad because I had been working. I kind of ignored Valentine's Day like a typical guy. I felt bad. She felt bad. I was like, well, and I just sat down. I got on the piano. Like, I have a song for you. Listen, this is the gift. So anyway.
But ironically, you're writing the song. You still weren't with her. So there's a terrible irony with that.
That's exactly right.
What it is. I actually, if I would have done it, I would have actually picked probably Popalicious would have been your lead off song, and I would have held off Big Rock for more of a summertime song.
Now,
go a long way.
That is so
that's just my thought.
Sean, no, first of all, no one at this point, again, only people that have heard the record are under one handful of inner circle and some of the band. And I say some not even have heard at all. And I've always wondered about Popalicious because it's so bizarre for me. But so what do you think? Give it to me honestly.
Well, that's my whole point is I think when you do a release, it's always been to me, you always want to do a strong song. You want to do something that's going to get everybody's ears. And sometimes more accessible, but this whole album's accessible. So that's not even a part of the conversation. This isn't like out there like Thingfish, like a Zappa. You know what I mean? I love Zappa, but Thingfish would be the weirdest thing ever. This is a good song. It's got a lot of different parts to it. And I think it would lend to being open for more ears that maybe you wouldn't normally hear, that may give you more chances to listen to this album to begin with. And since the album's already accessible, it'd be easier to keep them listening to the album.
Do you think
like a gateway drug, your gateway drug song?
Yeah. So I just thought it was a step too far for a lot of guitar players, but maybe I read that song wrong. I mean, I love that song, but I keep thinking that like urban intro with the Snoop Dogg, drums and the bass, the synth bass. Like, I don't know. I second guess if people will like it. I love it. So
well, here's the thing: you did it authentically, so you weren't trying to do anything different. So it's a totally honest song with a lot of honest, fun parts. which could open a lot of ears. So it's inherently a natural organic thing. I hate that word organic. We're going to Aldi's now. It's, you know, it's just you. It's real. So it's not like this frequency label. You need to reach out to this audience, you know, demographic. No, it's just
I
like, this is a song. This is how the song came out.
Yeah.
And you know, I always think that the first song on an album's got to either be representative of the album, which I think that does, because there's a lot of different, you know, points on it. I'm looking at the song list here. And I think it's strong, you know, and usually you want to do like another good ballad or two and a ballad on rock song. And then maybe the ballad's usually like the third or fourth, but you couldn't give up Valentine. St. Valentine was just too much of a given.
So let me ask this, giving it away, the third single before the album's released will be Gumdrop. And I know we went ballad to mid. Would you do Someday Today or Popalicious for the fourth thing?
Popalicious.
Popalicious, interesting.
Because I think Someday Today is good, but it's similar in upbeat rock vein. And I like the idea of you doing different, showing off your different, you know, muscles on it.
All right, you may have changed something here. You know, Gumdrop is in the pipe already, but the fourth one.
Well, Gumdrop is a great choice. I mean, I think that's another good one. I mean, they're all good, but I mean, I just think some of them are just so different, that stand out so differently. You know,
okay.
The songs we're talking about are like some of the ones that stand out are my favorites. You know, we'll talk about the second, but like so like United We Stand. That's the totally feel good anthem. Could even do like USA, whatever. It could be a soccer song. Actually, you could get some kind of soccer endorsement and you can make some good change. But it's good. It's got that great rock feeling you want. A lot of good, some good.
That was supposed to be. It placed differently on the album until the very, 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 very end. It was supposed to go Prelude, and then that was supposed to rise up into United.
No,
but
it's better back.
It's better where it is now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of how to like put songs together, and some things just stand out more. I didn't even think about it with this one. It just feels good. It just feels like it fits.
Thanks, man.
It's good. Maybe your United You Stand, you can do the next halftime, and you can Snoop. You guys do your Snoop thing together, and you guys can go to Popalicious, and then go back into, you know, something else. Blossoms. That's a really great song too. That kind of sneaks up. It's like a sleeper. What was the thought behind that one?
So in Cleveland, we had a rock legend. His name was Michael Stanley. I don't know if you might have heard. There was Michael Stanley Band, and he sold out 4 nights at Blossom Music Center. So like 80,000 people over 4 days, and like he was like the rock god, Cleveland's favorite son. Amazing guy. He died last year. So when he died, I was doodling around on the keys again and guitar, and I was just writing this tune, and I just kept thinking of when I was a kid going to see Michael Stanley at Blossom Music Center, and so for Clevelanders, you hear Blossom, you think Blossom Music Center, but everyone else just thinks it's a flower or something. But so that's not really a tribute to Michael, but he was in my mind as I was writing it. So it's like my own personal, private.
But that's a way better story than being like TJ Friday's The Awesome Blossom or Blossom the TV show. That's a way better motivation. A guitar
right. It really means something.
Right. It's a beautiful name. So.
And I kept a lot of the demo guitar on the verse. There's a phaser in there that I don't know if I would have kept normally, but it had the right vibe, and I just kept it. So, that one is my Michael Stanley tribute. I haven't told anyone that story yet. So that's the first it's released to the universe right here. So
awesome. Thank you. I think with this, I hope this is the beginning of you even doing more, keep reaching out like this. Really just, the more you're relaxing, the more you're getting comfortable.
Yeah.
In your songwriting.
I love it.
I think you should stretch out and just keep doing it like this. I don't think it doesn't be a rock record, but I'm saying you should really just feel like you're not in any, you should be locked down to any sound. I like the fact you've done different stuff, you know.
Thank you.
That's what makes it probably more fun to me. And that's why I said Popalicious is just like, it's ridiculously awesome. You know, it's got a lot of different stuff.
And listen, I just wanted an excuse to put my cat in a song. So I don't know if you caught, but like the intro where it's like da, 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 da. You hear the purr, meow, like you know, like I started my studio desk over there, and she always sleeps on my interface because it's hot. And I'm like, what am I gonna call this tune? Like, this song has been written for a few years. I called it D song because it's in D, right? I had no, and I'm like, what am I gonna? I'm like, hey, Popalicious, Popalicious, you know. So
I can't believe it took it long. That's the first thing I'm like, I have to write a name, and I name my cat that. It's great. I name my car that. It's a fun name. I'm naming everything that. The fact you waited so long, it's great.
But I followed her around with my phone, and like she won't meow. Of course, she's a cat, right? When you want her to. So like I had to like sneak up on her, you know. So the hardest part of that song was getting her to meow correctly to record it. So
in key. All right, okay. So Sheila.
Do you know the
really
original?
Different? No.
So that's my one cover on the record. There was a band in the early 80s called the Producers, and they had their big hit was called Sheila, and it's like I would equate them in a positive way like to the Knack, which
they were like familiar to me. The Producers sound familiar, and it does sound familiar. Like I can't think of the song, but I do know the Producers. Yeah.
So if you YouTube like or Spotify or whatever, the original Sheila by the Producers, it's like just the most greatest power pop tune ever. And I remember as a kid sneaking into bars to see bands, and like a band in town would do Sheila. I was like, oh man, that is the greatest fucking song ever. So I always said, man, I got to redo that tune. I've through the years, I got to redo Sheila. And so finally, this was the one. But no one knows it's a cover because even
that's
like Todd, I'm like, here's the original if you want to hear it. Oh, I didn't know this song. So I don't know. It's interesting. I
usually know a lot too, and I usually catch it. I didn't look, you know, not having anything in front of me, but you know, the Producers. And I do think it almost feels like a long time ago somebody said, "Oh, you don't know this band?" Like, and they showed me that, and I probably heard the song and I forgot it. But somebody says, "You don't know the Producers?" I remember that part because I didn't know them.
Right.
And they played a song. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I think I knew that song."
You may recognize it once you hear it, but yeah, you might do a deep dive.
I totally forgot about it. It was like such a piece. Space Within, another great one.
Thanks. I wanted to end on I like ending on a slow
like outro.
Yeah, like it was a pensive note, and again, I have a few synthesizers that get just these great pad spaces. So to me, like that song, it sounds like you're literally just like floating in space, and it's real loose, and it's melancholy and eerie, but I envision what would it be like falling through space or whatever, and that's what that's about. So you know, the space within is, you know, the space within ourselves, and that is the creative side. And of course I ended with the vocoder, and I put the vocoder all through the record because Jeff Lynne would do it, and if Jeff Lynne would have did it, I want to do it.
Vocoders, so you have one?
Yeah, I would have put it on more songs, but I did. I put it on Prelude, Popalicious, Gumdrop, and Space Within. So I beat it up enough. So it's
I thought I heard, and I love that because there's a point in my life where I was going to buy one, and I'm like, I can't justify it. I just want to do it because it sounds awesome, but there's really nothing I could really use it for. Not practically for me. I'm not recording albums. You know what I mean? I would just want to do it because it sounds awesome.
It's the best. Like, and it's addictive, and you're like, I'm staring at mine right up there, and everything sounds killer. Everything sounds killer, you know. But again, you know, Jeff puts it in Mr. Blue Sky, and history has changed, right? So
one of the best songs ever. So you actually had some bonus tracks. What are you gonna do with those? Can we talk about those or no? Those Japanese imports in the world of the internet now.
Oh God! So streaming won't get any of them. The CD will get Poly, and the album we're gonna do vinyl ultimately in round 2.
Yes,
we'll get Melodique. So yeah,
great name, great. Both of those are both very different too from each other.
Yeah, Poly's been around. Poly was written for the 212 album, and I just never got it right. And then I think I tried to look at it again for Clyde, and then I think even for Peach I looked at it. And I kept always coming back, like there's something in this I really like, but I could never. It always was out of my grasp just a little bit, like I couldn't get. So I think I got it as good as it could be, and I had it's bonus track material. And then Melody, again, I'm a guitar player. I don't play piano, but I can write on piano and I can record piano. So like if you asked me to play something I couldn't really, I can mess around, but like to write, and I have some time and I'm relaxed and like record, stop, record. Like I can record piano.
Piano, music theory, and you have you know how to write a good song composition. So you know it lends to that skill.
Yeah, if I have the time and no one's staring over my shoulder, and I can go in and tweak my mistakes, and I get exactly what I want. So you know, so that was me playing everything.
And there's a lot of piano or synth on this thing. It's it's really beautiful. It doesn't sound like it's being pieced together or whatever. It feels very full on. That's very impressive.
Hey, what would Jeff Lynne do? What would Jeff Lynne do?
I don't know what he would do. It's really good. It's really good. So you're actually been doing a little bit of touring now. Next week or two, you're warming up. You're showing a nice shiny piece of gear that you're prepping on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm just excited just to get out and play. So we did, obviously this last year we did Dark Night, which was great, and did a Silent Night. But like I want to get out and play my tunes. I got a new record, and I'm dying to learn the songs. I got to learn the tunes, and
play outside of your town so more than one people can see it.
Yeah, I want to play these new tunes. I'm excited. Listen, I'm always excited to play I'm All Right, and I'm happy to play the tunes people want to hear. But man, I just want to play some new stuff. It's gets me going. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm practicing, learning all the tunes, and I'm working on. I got a new piece of gear. I'm trying a new rig this time out, and I'm excited. This is what musicians do. Musicians play, and I'm pumped. So no matter what happens, it's gonna be fantastic. So
it's been great.
It's been a great time, man. And thank you so much for always having me on and taking time to listen to the record. Like you really listen to it. Like it means a lot to me.
Probably like 50 times. Probably like 50 times, just so you know, like literally. Like somebody going to Star Wars in the 70s. Yeah, like 50 times. Except I didn't dress up like a stormtrooper.
You're a dude, man.
Sorry.
Virtual fist bump right there.
All right, buddy. You have a good night.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right.
We'll see you back again. All right, bye.
Later. Bye.